Important announcement for all tacticians. Have you heard of LeifAlert? It's a permadeath world out there, and the right staff at the right time could save your life.
Help! I've fallen, and I can't afford to. I'm having chest pains. Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that mutton.
With the push of a button, LeifAlert will begin a support conversation with our staff of staff users.
Hang in there, sir. A cleric has been notified of your emergency. They're rewarping to your location now. Restore! Unlock! Finally! How many turns has it been?
Don't just leave me here, you bastard!
Don't wait until it's too late. Every tactician needs LeifAlert.
Hello there, young one! If you've come seeking the wisdom of the elders regarding the units in Fire Emblem, the Hag In White, you've come to the right place. Come closer, child. Let me have a look at you. My staff. I'm not gonna talk like that the whole time, but I am gonna keep this Apate cosplay on. Welcome to this mini tier list for the Fire Emblem, the Hag In White Romhack by SaintRubenio. If you're wondering whether or not you should play this game, I will attempt to cast Restore here and dispel your fears. Appearances can be deceiving. It's probably the best pure Fire Emblem Romhack experience I've had. I enjoyed every single chapter, and if you're wondering, well, what about the Fog of War chapters? Well, there weren't any, so you should play this Romhack. It's incredible. I'm not going to go into too much detail about every unit, and this list is going to be minimal spoilers. Obviously, there's going to be character spoilers about who can actually be recruited, but there are some decoys down in the character roster, so not every character portrait you see is actually recruitable. If you're playing the game yourself, which I highly recommend, I would maybe suggest that you dart in and out of this tier list to really minimize the spoilers. When we talk about each character, we are going to be talking about their recruitment method, and some of those are a little spoiler-ish, but for the most part, I'll try and keep things kind of vague, where if you've played the game, you know, and if you haven't played the game, maybe you'd be like a little suspicious of the way I phrase something. We're going to be using our 5-star ranking system. At the very top we have 5 stars. You should respect your elders. So these are units that I think are These are units that I think are completely indispensable, and you should field them every single map, or else you're doing yourself a disservice. Heal staff in this game, by the way, can never actually break. Beneath 5 stars we have 4 stars. I would heavily recommend that you use these units. I think they will bolster your army composition in ways that may or may not be unique, but you don't have to use them. Below 4 stars we have 3 stars. 3-star units, I would say, are completely average. You can use them or don't, and it won't really affect the viability of your army. I'll say right now that the vast majority of units we're going to be ranking today are actually going to be 3 stars, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think this Romhack is actually very, very well balanced. Most units have at least acceptable stats, and many units actually have a particular gimmick that makes them special. Not necessarily good or bad, just special, and makes you use them in a different way. Beneath 3 stars we have 2 stars. I would say that these units are not recommended. You can still use them, but you're probably going to be making your playthrough a little bit harder. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but you can. And below 2 stars we have 1 star. So these are units I would say are just meme units. Challenge mode and max meme usage only. However, I will say there's only 2 of them in the entire game. The vast majority of units are at worst 2 stars. Well, I'm not getting any younger, so let's get to the rankings, beginning with myself. Apate, the titular Hag in White. I may be a bit biased here. How could you not love me? So the entire premise of the Hag in White is that both holy magic and the healing arts are techniques lost to time. However, the Hag in White, she still remembers. So she is your only healer for the entire game. And she's really good at it. It's kind of funny because when we talk about staff users in most Fire Emblem games, what we care about most is the insane positional stuff you can do with staves, right? Rescuing allies or sending them forward with warp. And usually until then we just say, yeah, I guess they can heal, and it's not really that important. Well, let me tell you, when only one old hag is being worked to the bone, trying to provide medical attention to everyone, maybe next time you play a normal Fire Emblem game, you'll show some gratitude for the humble staff bot, okay? Extremely useful. She's also force deployed in every map, so you couldn't bench her even if you wanted to, but you wouldn't want to. Her base stats are totally fine. She starts with capped magic, and technically she can attack. She is versed in light magic, but for the most part, she's just going to be patching up your army. Earlier in the game, she is actually your geriatric jeigan, so you might actually consider playing Apate the Hedgehog, putting her in defensive terrain, and letting enemies attack her because they love attacking her, and she does regenerate naturally with the renewal skill. So you can actually have her draw fire early in the game, which is especially important because, hey, she doesn't have to use an action to heal herself. It's sort of free healing if you get the damage on her. But later on in the game, her speed stat is going to start to fall behind, and then you've got to be a lot more careful with her. You could say that the hedgehog's glory days are over, kind of like another hedgehog. Uh-oh. Kyra! This is your Lord character, and she's actually a bow lord. Her unique class is called Huntress. Four stars. Not quite a bullseye, but still pretty accurate. She comes with a personal skill, Outdoors Woman, which is just acrobat, so any traversable terrain costs 1. This does not let her peak walk, it does not let her fjord rivers, but you can get through forests and you can get through mountains for only 1 movement cost. So you could put Kyra on Kilimanjaro and do some evade tanking, although you won't be striking back because you have a bow. As the main character, she does get main character privilege, which means she gets some pretty useful PRF weapons, and she also has constant access to the convoy, so she can fish out whatever bow is most appropriate for the situation. Her bases are really good. She starts off with really good base strength. Her speed is a little bit suspicious, but it eventually gets good enough. She does have a story promotion, comes at a little bit over halfway through the game. Story-wise, the promotion is super hype, super exciting. Gameplay-wise, it's fine. It's good, but I think I would actually rather have her promote to Sniper, because snipers in this game actually get bow range +1, which extends the range of all of their bows by 1. But Kyra's special story promotion is still really good. Bows in this hack themselves are also just quite powerful. There's a lot of powerful bows, and she's probably going to be your best user of them. And she's force deployed in every chapter, so you should probably train her. It'll make your playthrough easier. There's also some main character favoritism in some of the maps. Particularly, there is a late game map where you go through a valley that has a lot of rough terrain as flyers swoop in at you from the sides. I wonder what unit you're supposed to really take advantage of. It's this one, the main character. Who's this? Phobos. That's not a good start. Phobos, the Feeble. Two stars. He's fine. No, actually, 2 stars doesn't mean fine. Yeah, somebody just said in the chat, he makes Merc seem bad. That's impressive. He's really not that bad. The issue is that he is a sword unit. Because he's a sword unit, he will almost always face a counterattack. And especially early in the game, healing is really valuable. So you really want to dodge counters, and this dude basically never does. He's almost always going to get stabbed in the gut or like hatcheted to the head or lanced in the leg whenever he actually tries to fight. And that's going to put a huge strain on Apate, who's going to be busy healing everybody else, so she doesn't want to have to deal with dressing this guy's injuries. He also has some pretty unimpressive bases. He has 6 base strength at level 1 with swords, which is not great. He is the first normal unit, which means that we should probably talk about promotions here. Normal promotions are always choices, and there are some new classes. So Phobos can promote to either Bounty Hunter, which is one of the new classes, or Hoplite, which is also a new class. Both of Phobos' promotion choices are really good, but they're not both good fits for him. Bounty Hunter is really good. I think it's one of the best classes in the game. It has sword and axe access, and sort of the gimmick of Bounty Hunter is that it's the heavy weapon synergy class. They have the best passive skill in the game. It's called Thunderstorm. If your weapon is heavier than your opponent's weapon, then you will gain the Thunderstorm bonus, which is +3 damage, +20 accuracy, +10 crit. You get all of that for not even a downside. You just have to have a super heavy weapon equipped. For other bounty hunter candidates, there's just no downside because they're all huge. But the thing is that Phobos is actually pretty feeble. He's actually pretty small. So if he tries to use a heavy weapon, he's going to lose a ton of speed, which he does not want to do. Because his speed is already like it's okay, but it's not super incredible. So his better promotion option is probably Hoplite. And Hoplite is just hero plus lances. So you get all 3 weapon types, which is important because you're also adept at using those weapons. The Hoplite skill is Triangle Adept, which doubles the weapon triangle effect, both positive and negative. But really just positive because you're the player, right? You're not going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to be at disadvantage. That's probably why Radiant Dawn in the hard mode removes the weapon triangle, because it's just considered a buff for the player. So just be careful that you don't take attacks at disadvantage, and it'll only ever help you. The weapon triangle effect is +1 damage, +15 accuracy, +15 avoid if you're at advantage, and all of those in reverse if you're at disadvantage. All of those get doubled by Triangle Adept, and the +1 damage actually gets multiplied by effectiveness. And there is a lot of effective shenanigans that happen in this game. So if you land an effective strike with Weapon Triangle Advantage and Triangle Adept, you gain +6 damage, which is really big. So keep that in mind if you ever decide to go Hoplite with any of your characters, which you should, because Hoplite's pretty good. Just maybe not on this guy who may or may not be benched. Justice Sotermeyer. He's an Armor Knight, which means he has 4 movements. Be sure to recycle your tin cans. He's not that bad. He's actually pretty good. So Armor Knights in this hack, they are divided into Holy Knights and Dark Knights. Soter is a Holy Knight, so he gets axes and he gets anima magic. His base stats are pretty good. His growths are also completely fine. The main issue is 4 movement is just agony. You actually don't get a Cavalier for a couple chapters, so you can't really correct that with rescue drops like you normally would. If you're an Armor Knight fan, I totally understand. I hope you'll see eye to eye with me on this. Where do you want the Armor Knights to be? You want them to be in front, right? But where are they actually? They're behind your army. Because the rest of your army has 5 move and he only has 4. It's also annoying that some of the early game objectives, there's actually 2 escape maps, and it's Thracia style escape, so everybody has to escape, not just the Lord, and you can only escape at the speed of your lowest unit, which is going to be 4 move with this dude. Ah! There is some light at the end of the tunnel though. Armor Knights are trash, but Generals are really good. You can trust me, okay? You know that I don't like armors, but I love Canto. Don't you love the Kanto region too? The promotions for Armor Knight are both really good. The first option is White Dragoon. White Dragoon is sort of like Paladin. It's got axes, it's got swords, and it has anima magic. But it only has 7 move, which is a big improvement over 4. The other option for Armor Knight is, of course, General. Now, there's a General emote, and I wouldn't have added it if I wasn't actually enamored with Generals in this game. So Generals, not only do they love the Kanto region, they're so devoted, they lead it with Kanto Plus. Generals have Reposition, which allows you to yank a unit to the opposite side of you, and they have Kanto Plus, which allows you to use all of your remaining movement after any action, not just after a non-combat action like rescuing. Now, Generals only have 5 move. 5 move is bad, but Generals always have 5 move. What do I mean by that? So, if you have a highly mobile unit, like a Pegasus Knight, or a Falco Knight, while you have 8 move, that 8 move is restricted by where you can actually go without dying, right? So you might have 8 move, but if you use that 8 move and Leroy into 6 enemies and die, you don't really have 8 move, do you? It's still nice to have the flexibility, it's going to get you some better angles of attack, and it's going to let you do side objectives. But it's not always the best when you're actually fighting the enemy. Speaking of movement and fighting the enemy, there's also tons of times where you might have 8 move, but the ideal attack is only 3 away. So you didn't actually get to use all of your 8 movement. Because Generals have Kanto Plus, you can take that closer 3 move attack that was ideal, but still cash in on your 2 remaining movement to press forward into enemy ranks. And as for the issue of Leroying into the enemy army, well, that's not an issue, right? You're a general. You want the entire enemy army to attack you. That's like the point.
Break yourselves upon my body.
Generals are going to need some help getting to the front lines, but once they're there, because of Kanto Plus, they're very good at actually staying in the action ahead of your other units. So really, really useful. The main reason I put Soter down here is you do have to actually pump EXP into him to get him to promotion level. And you're gonna get other Armor Knights later where you don't have to do that, and you can immediately become, well, I'm not gonna say a 5-star general, but probably like a 3-star general. All right, I think our last act is gonna be some general propaganda. And there's no way I can reach. Crap. It's fine. Reposition! Reposition! Slain? Nice effective weapons, hoplite loser. Slain. Massacred. And we got S-rank axes. I think that's a good place to stop. Slain. Hecate. What lies beneath that mysterious turban? A pretty decent unit. Starts as a shaman. She has a zillion magic. And that's about it. So she does insane damage once to the opponent, on average. Her speed can get better later, but she starts out a little bit slow. the main niche of dark magic as opposed to anima magic. You do have the Lunatome, but it's not really that useful. You get a Steven Seagal DVD. I think it's called the Seagal Tome, but I always just called it the Steven Seagal DVD. And it's actually effective against enemy nerds. There is no magic triangle between dark, light, and anima. The main way that you're going to be bullying nerds is either with a Steven Seagal DVD screening or like axing them in the face with a strong physical weapon. But Hecate is really good at bullying nerds because of her two promotion options. One promotion option is Artificer, which is rogue with dark magic. I don't think you should ever do this. I think it's just incorrect. You gain Lock Touch, but there's basically no use for Lock Touch in this hack. There are almost no doors, and if you call LeifAlert because I'm having chest pains, you happen to be having some chest pains, you actually get enough master keys to just get through every door and lock, no problem. It's just a droppable item that you get that has like 5 or 6 uses and unlocks anything. So Lock Touch is almost useless, and Swords as a promo upgrade also basically useless. The much better promotion choice is Druid. I don't think you get a new weapon type, but you do gain a skill, Tome Breaker, which gives you 50 accuracy and 50 avoid bonus when facing an enemy nerd equipped with a tome, and there is a lot of magic in this game. Tomebreaker is incredibly useful in terms of bulk. I would say Druid 1000%. Next we have Kairos, a man of the cloth. He is a priest. Although that's not his actual combat class. He is a magic blade, that's what it's called. So his name is Kairos, but in Japanese, Pincer's name is Kairos, like the same, so I just called him Pincer the entire time. How would I rate Pincer? Well, he's no Heracross, but he's not bad. 3 stars? So he's a magic Myrmidon. He can only use swords before promotion, but there are a lot more magically infused swords, so you're mostly going to be using the Firebrand early on for some 1-2 range. He's going to double everything. His offensive stats are like a little bit disappointing, but they're not that bad. One of the main downsides, it's not really even his fault, it's like a technical limitation. It's that magic swords don't actually increase your sword rank because they count as spells. You almost always want to be using your magic sword because you want to be dodging counterattacks from having to use melee swords, but you sometimes have to use melee swords because you need to increase your sword rank in order to use the better magical swords. So it's a strike against him that's really not even his fault. I think it's just an engine limitation of magic swords being counted as spells. It's not a big deal, it's just kind of annoying. Now on the tier list, he's next to Hecate, but you probably actually want to put them together in the main game as well, because this game has canon supports. So you don't build supports by just standing next to each other and spamming end turn 30 times. They just happen throughout the story as you have conversations within your base, and then you gain the support bonuses you would expect in a GBA game. And these two are one of the very few units that can actually build up to an A rank. So if you like them both, consider using them together. I think Pincer the Pokemon is kinda ugly, but Pincer the Priest, he's got some serious riz. As for his promotions, he can go to Swordmaster, which you definitely should not do. Swordmaster sucks. The only thing you get is the 15% crit boost, which is really unreliable, most of the time completely negligible. The other option is Spell Sword, which is Sage with Swords, also known as Sage, because you're never going to use a sword again. One of my very few issues with the hack is that the meta is magic. Because healing is so restricted, as compensation, there are a lot more hybrid classes. Basically, everybody has hit the library, everybody is nerding out, and magic is absolutely everywhere. Because magic is everywhere, it sort of becomes an arms race where the enemies all have tomes, which have 1-2 range, pretty decent might and good accuracy. So you also need tomes, which are 1-2 range, have pretty good might, and decent accuracy. Basically, if a unit can use magic, they probably will just exclusively use magic. Even for physically based hybrid classes, because there's actually magic tomes that use your muscle. Kind of like how Atlas in Shadows of Valentia, there's like a unified attack stat. So even though he's just this like buff bodybuilder dude, if you make him a sage, he like attacks people with his magic muscles. It's very funny. There is an upside to the magic meta though. When everybody's a nerd,
Your magic shall not save you.
resistance is actually pretty useful. So I'd say that the worst stat in the game is actually skill in this hack. Spell Sword does actually have a skill, it's Opportunist, which is when the opponent cannot counter, you gain +4 damage. This is pretty useful, but it is player phase only, since if an enemy is attacking you, obviously they can counter, right? So it's never going to be active on enemy phase. Not a big deal, you're still going to get use out of it. And as a spell sword, you might actually equip a magic sword once in a while, because swords do have the best magical variants. There's the firebrand that you start with, but then later on you get the Kestros, which is a wind edge that's actually effective against flyers. And then sort of the ultimate magic weapon is the rune sword, which is, well, I guess I put ultimate in quotes for a reason. It's not that great, but it has a lot of might. PHEME the Phenom. A young villager from Purged, kind-hearted if a bit of a busybody. She has her own unique class, Nimrod, an aspiring huntress who is still learning the ways of the bow. You know, I thought no one else could use staves, and yet here we've got a Nimrod. Oh, yeah, she's a trainee. she's not very good. I mean, look at these stats. Oh, but she has a skill. Aptitude, +15 to all growth rates. Oh, okay, so what are her growths? All right, 60% strength, 40 magic, 45 skill, 55 speed, 40 luck, 25 defense, 25 res, 65 HP. Like, that's... like, those growths are good, but... the hell is this? I mean, I used PHEME. I got her to her promotion to a normal class, and you know what? She had normal stats! Because her bases are so bad. Oh, I'm not gonna call you a Nimrod just for using this character, but... there's no way I could rate PHEME the Phenom anything other than 1 star. I cannot recommend that you use her. She's not that difficult to train. She is an archer, so she avoids counters, and of course she gets a bunch of XP on chip. But very weirdly, for a trainee, she actually has a very bad early game availability. She joins you early, but then she forcibly sits out of several chapters. Like, it's almost as if the developer themselves is warning you, hey, maybe don't use this unit. Now, of course, if you truly trust in the trainees, you take that as a challenge, right? And you're gonna try and use her anyway. Look, okay, just don't say I didn't warn you, okay? Nimrod has 2 promotion paths to go, and you could either go archer or you could go fighter. 1000% you should just go archer. Her constitution is horrendous, so even though her speed is quite good, any sort of axe is gonna send her speed to the Shadow Realm, so just go archer. Because eventually then you can go sniper, and sniper's really good. Also, if you promote her to fighter, she loses all of her bow rank and just starts at base axes. It's just a bad idea, don't do it. Raleigh, humble capital of the proud state of North Carolina. Raleigh is a Dark Knight, which is a counterpart to Soter the Holy Knight. So Raleigh, instead of axes and anima magic, has lances and dark magic. I believe they're actually your earliest lance unit. Compared to Soter, they're a bit faster, but they're a bit more frail. Can you guess where I'm going to put this armor knight? Phalanx formation. Raleigh is surprisingly frail for an armor knight. I was really surprised at their bases because they're really similar to Lowen's units. And then we go to Hag, and then we Google Maps over to Raleigh. Starts at level 4, 7 strength, 8 magic, 5 skill, 7 speed, 3 luck, only 9 defense. Armor Knight? Hello? And these growths are very unimpressive. There's nothing wrong with them, they're fine. You're sort of hoping for more, right? This should be like 12 defense base, right? And there's only a 35% defense growth, so the bulk never really increases. Shares the general promotion with Soter, and I've already divulged how much I actually like generals. And you could also go Black Dragoon. I would probably recommend Black Dragoon, but General is also really good. This is one of the more balanced promotion splits. Although really, I wouldn't recommend pumping in the 6 levels to Raleigh that you need to reach promotion. I don't think it's worth it, because you get other options later, where you can sort of just skip the painful 4-move beginning. I will also say that although Raleigh is wearing metal armor, I would actually not recommend using them in an Iron Man. So later on in the game, you visit Raleigh's hometown. If you visit the village with Raleigh themselves, you get special dialogue. But the reward of the village doesn't actually change. The village gives you a pretty important item.
You're too slow!
It's the Speed Wing. You don't actually need Raleigh to get it, but if Raleigh bit the bucket, is that a phrase? If Raleigh kicked the bucket and is dead, then their dad is just kind of sad, and you don't get anything. So use Raleigh at your own risk. Lopez, Begonia, and Fango, the Bandit trio. We're gonna rank them together for a couple reasons. Let's start with the lead, Lopez. This man has the worst stats you've ever seen in your entire Fire Emblem career. In my advanced age, my eyes aren't what they used to be. Hopefully they're deceiving me because I appear to be looking at 2 base strength with a 25% growth and swords. Oh dear. This guy makes Lynn look like Gonzalez. Worst offense in the game. That's good enough. Oh my god, it's a disaster. We've gone bankrupt. Can we just liquidate this dude with our steel sword? We actually can. What about the devil sword? Oh my god. I mean, if this backfires once, we don't even die, right? It would have to backfire twice. Invest now. Uh-oh. I'm the greatest tactician in Tartaros. I don't deserve to be treated this way. It had to backfire both times, and they had to hit us. You ready? Five stars. Invest in Lopez coin today. Lopez is not a combat unit. He's actually not even a utility unit because, as I mentioned earlier, Lock Touch actually doesn't really do that much in this game. The 5-star for Lopez does come with an asterisk. He's 5 stars if you use both of the other bandits because they all work together. But luckily, the other bandits are both pretty good. The reason why you need to use them together is because first they start off in a support triangle. So when you have 2 base strength and swords, you actually need the support bonus to deal damage to enemies. And if your gang sticks together and you group hug an enemy, maybe in a triangular formation, you can actually get the best triangle attack in the series. The Bandit triangle attack is super, super useful. The things that make it useful, well, first off, it's actually in the game. It's available as early as Chapter 3, whereas normally you need to recruit all 3 Pegasus sisters. These are all in availability order, so the Pegasus triangle attack is like at the end of the game in almost every game. Really, really annoying. But this one you get almost immediately. Lopez is a really integral part of the triangle attack because he has 6 move at base, whereas most of your other units have 5 or even 4. So the one who goes behind to pinch the enemy is probably going to be Lopez. You may also actually want to have Lopez be the one initiating the attack and cashing in on the crit. Why though? I thought he had really terrible stats. Well, despite the fact that this unit literally stinks, don't call him a con man, okay? If you invest in Lopez coin, you get a return. Guaranteed. Whenever Lopez slays a unit on player phase, you will gain an item, coin, that you can then sell for 150 gold. Now, I've played with Despoil in other Fire Emblem games, and I've always been rug pulled. You invest a ton of resources into like these weird classes, and then you end up as like a level 15 blacksmith, and then sometimes on like a luck-based percentage, every other Tuesday under the full moon, when you initiate an attack against an enemy and kill them, you get like an iron sword. I felt cheated every single time, but my Lopez coin investment has never disappointed me. This is guaranteed. If you kill the enemy, you always get the coin. And this really, really adds up. I'm not gonna say that this hack is stingy with money. Maybe that's stinky. I'm not gonna say this hack is stingy with money, but the Lopez coin really, really adds up. You can sort of think of it as Lopez handing you a killing edge at the end of every map in terms of value. That's really, really valuable. He powers up your entire army by allowing you financial freedom. True story. Because I put cryptocurrency buzzwords in a thumbnail featuring Lopez, I actually got cryptocurrency bots commenting on the VODs. And I had to go through and delete that. So if that doesn't convince you that this guy is legit, I don't know. Now, you might notice here that our Lopez is actually a capped promoted unit. Now, I'm the type of guy who always goes to level 20 before promoting, despite telling you not to do that because it's a bad habit. With Lopez, you should really just promote him at 10. First of all, his growths are disgusting, right? You're not missing anything, okay? You're missing on average like 2.4 strength. Who cares? Like, you'll be okay. The much bigger reason to promote is that his promotions are amazing. Well, one of them is. He has the same artificer promotion as Hecate. This is like a troll promotion. I don't know why you would ever do this. The assassin promotion is actually amazing. Strength +6, speed +4, and move +1, as well as bow access. So I would say once he goes to assassin, he goes from Lopez the liability to Lopez the lucrative. You will liquidate enemies, no problem. Bows are really, really useful. You can dodge counterattacks, and 7-move infantry is actually really good. It's actually better than 7-move cavalry, right? Because you don't suffer the terrain penalties. You're just not as good at rescue dropping. I would actually say just promote him at level 10. And you'll probably be very happy with your Lopez investment. Assassins in this game don't actually get assassinate. I say even though the skill is literally called assassinate, they don't get lethality, but they get assassinate. So when you initiate the attack at one range, so not with a bow, you gain +2 damage, and you gain the alacrity effect, so your double attack will happen before the enemy counterattack, assuming you double them, which you do because you're an assassin. So by promoting, he gains +6 strength and this passive, so that's actually +8 damage, but it's actually +16 because you double. It's a massive, massive promotion, the biggest one in the game. Fun fact, this stink skill is apparently covering for the actual effect, which is Rightful God. It increases all of your proc chances massively, which is why Despoil always procs. So I think if he actually had lethality, he would lethality every attack, so that's why he doesn't have it. Invest in Lopez coin today. You won't regret it. But his co-conspirators in this, I'm not gonna say pyramid scheme, but a triangle attack sort of rhymes with a pyramid scheme.
Let's say you signed up 3 friends. Okay. So then you and I would help those 3 friends sign up their 3 friends.
It's not an illegal pyramid scheme. It's a direct selling network marketing company.
Is it shaped like a pyramid, the business structure?
It is shaped like a pyramid, yes.
But you're saying it's not an illegal pyramid
It's
scheme?
not an illegal pyramid scheme.
The other 2 bandits, thankfully they're a lot more straightforward to talk about. I mean, they're bandits. Big bad Begonia here. She's got a lot of strength, she's got a lot of HP, she's got a lot of speed. She's a bandit. Her promotion choices are Berserker and Hoplite. I went Berserker and I really regret it. Berserker, you just get the 15% crit boost. It's really not worth it when you compare it to Hoplite, where you get 2 additional weapon types, and Triangle Adept, which is primarily upside. I would absolutely say hop on Hoplite Begonia. Oh, important to note, not only is Begonia the leader of the bunch, you know her well, she has a leadership star. It's not just for show. Up to this point, the only other unit that has a leadership star is Kyra, and I don't really even know if that counts because she's always deployed. But if you field Begonia, you will grant your entire army a 3% hit and avoid bonus. This is really important, especially when it comes to countering enemy leadership stars. There are some maps where not only does the enemy have 5-star tacticians, they've got 10 stars. I don't even know how they achieve that ranking. But you might actually need to stack leadership bonuses on your side of the field to counter enemy leadership bonuses. If you're ever on a map where suddenly the hit rates don't feel quite right, like, why am I getting hit? Why aren't I hitting? I'd recommend checking the enemy general's leadership stars. Enemy leadership is probably what's causing your strategy to go awry. And Begonia is the first optional unit that actually grants a leadership star if you choose to deploy her. Fango Unchained. This is one of the simplest units to talk about. He's a fighter. He has a lot of HP. He has a lot of strength. And that's about it. His promotions are either Warrior, which grants you bows and anima magic, both of which are quite good. It also grants you the Reckless skill. Reckless is the opposite of Opportunist. Opportunist gives you a 4 damage bonus if the enemy can't counter. Reckless gives you a 4 damage bonus if the opponent can counter. So this will always be active on enemy phase because they're attacking you. So assuming you can counterattack, you'll gain the bonus. And you can choose to be reckless on your turn and fight the enemy at a disadvantage, taking a counter, for an extra 4. However, you get the bonus if the opponent can counter, and they can't counter if they're dead. If you one-shot them, then I guess Reckless doesn't actually have a downside. However, if you want to be the one-shot king, you gotta go Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter Fango is here to collect. How strong is Bounty Hunter Fango? I am talking one-shot a general on defensive terrain. So now this guy gets hammered. Oh, 53 damage, hammered. Are we sure Combuskin is a good starter? They died in 1 hit. Bounty collected. I'd love to put in the home run on the final boss, but like that's a huge spoiler, so I'm not gonna do that. Fango is also the best at initiating the Bandit triangle attack because he does the most in 1 hit. And he's also a little bit inaccurate because he's an axe, bro. And the triangle attack guarantees the hit and crit, so you can delete basically any enemy, including some late game bosses who don't exactly camp on the throne. If you can invite them to your triangle attack pyramid scheme, Fango's gonna give them a very convincing sales pitch. Nicholas. He's an NPC soldier. That's actually his character. He's basically Phobos with a lance. He's probably better than Phobos because he can throw that lance to avoid counterattacks early. He's okay. His promotions are Halberdier. Halberdier is Spear, Swordmaster, or Berserker. You just get 15 crit. I don't really think it's worth it. His other option is Hoplite. Hoplite is much better. Absolutely go Hoplite. In terms of stats, he's an NPC soldier. Like, they're okay. Canari. I think her name is actually Agari, but we just played Legend ZA, so I just called her Canari the entire game. Now, this might be Canari the Controversial. I think I'm actually gonna give her 5 stars. Canari the Cavalier, although actually in this game, they're either called Holy Riders or Dark Riders, and she's on the holy side. So she's your first cavalry unit, and that is the main reason why she's up here. For some of the early game objectives where you need to intercept a bandit, go rescue a village, maybe bring one of the trash cans forward to empty them out, Canari is your only option for this. Her stats are also, overall, pretty good. And we did favor Canari. We sent an angelic robe and a bunch of stat boosters to her P.O. box. We're definitely a Canatic. But she does make really good use of them. As a holy rider, she has swords and axes, which means that she has access to the Armor Slayer, the Zanbato, and the hammer, although it's really heavy. She really leverages effective weapons well because she can get into the correct position to actually whack with them against the correct opponents, and then she really snowballs from there. And she's the only one who can do this for you, since she can actually reach those positions with 7 move. For her promotion choices, she could either go White Dragoon, which means she will get swords, axes, and Thunder Tomes. So she gains anima magic, which means that she does eventually get to use the Thunder Tome, which I think is just the best weapon in the game. It's a C rank anima tome, and it's basically the killer magic weapon. 1-2 range, high crit. It's pretty unfair. Once you can equip the Thunder Tome, you're probably not going to use much else unless you're using an effective weapon. It's really good. Probably the best, just general weapon in the game. Keep in mind that she doesn't actually gain 1 move upon promotion. Cavaliers are capped at 7 movement, which is probably good for balance, but it does make her a bit worse. It also makes the promotion to Great Knights less of a downside. So Great Knights having 6 move is a joke, but nobody's laughing in this game because they have 7 move. If she goes Great Knight, she gains an additional weapon type in the form of lances, which she might use sometimes. Better physically focused stats, and Great Knights actually get a skill. They get Savior. What Savior does is it removes the rescue penalty. So normally when you rescue a unit, while you're holding that unit, you then have your speed and skill halved, which is disastrous. You are far worse at combat, you are very liable to get doubled. So usually when you rescue a unit, you actually want to drop them that same turn. So you use rescue mostly to increase the mobility of your backline unit. You pick them up, you love the Kanto region, so then you move forward and then you drop them. You really want to do this also because it's better for your action economy, because that way you don't have to then use your next action to drop, and the unit you drop loses their action, right? You want to do this all in the same turn. With Savior on Great Knights, removing the rescue penalty, you can actually use the rescue command to rescue. So say you're in a battle on the front lines and then your ally is injured. Normally when you rescue them, that's just gonna get you killed as well. But with Savior, yeah, you can just pick them up and hold them and keep them safe until such time in the battle where you can drop them off at Apate's clinic for some treatment. Savior is a nice additional option, but usually if somebody is in need of an emergency rescue, it's an emergency, right? So something has already gone kind of wrong. Eupraxia, attempting to usurp my position as the eldest. Well, you've got a couple 100 years to go, little lady. Well, our 3-star graphic features some nerds, and if you couldn't guess from the portrait, Eupraxia herself is a nerd. She's just a mage. Magic is pretty good. Her stats are perfectly fine. Her 2 promotion choices are she could go Spell Sword, which is the same option that Pincer has on promotion. Spell Sword, sages with swords, also known as sages because you'll never use a sword. Her other option is probably better, which is Witch. Witch in this game is a 7-move mounted unit, and they do get a skill. They get Bow Breaker. So you gain 50% hit and 50% avoid against enemies with a bow. This is a lot less useful than Tome Breaker though. The main thing that Bow Breaker does is it lets you avoid getting sniped by enemy snipers. Because snipers all have extended range on their attacks, you can go into their range and not get hit. But you can't hit them back because they have a range advantage over you. Another thing that makes Bow Breaker less impressive is that basically every unit has Bow Breaker, where the enemy bow unit has 0 hit against you, because you just melee them, right? You can run up to bow units and stab them in the face and they can't do anything. Still, I would probably rather take the +1 move, Bowbreaker, and Kanto of the Witch class over the pretty useless swords and kind of useful Opportunist bonus of the Spell Sword. Stats-wise, they're about the same. There's also a secret 3rd promotion, which involves not visiting her for tea the first time you have the opportunity. If you do that and recruit her the 2nd time, you'll find that she's changed her general demeanor. It's a lot less of an XP investment to do the secret recruitment. So if you're not too interested in adding a normal nerd to your rank, maybe do the secret recruitment later. Glaucus, the second cavalier that you can get. Well, he's an early game cavalier. His stats and growths are, I think, just strictly worse than Canari's, but he has some interesting quirks to him. One of the quirks which is not interesting and which you'll never use is his personal skill Gamble, which halves your hit rate to double your crit rate, which is a horrible deal. If you gamble, you always lose, so never do it. What makes him interesting is that he has two modes of use. The first is just using him. Just use him in your army, give him XP. Later on, you're presented with an option. You can dismiss him or not. If you're using him, keep him. And he'll actually get you a good deal on a recruitment later. But if you're not using him, just dismiss him. And he'll come back later with different utility, let's say, and very useful utility. Either use him or really don't. Those are your options. If you dismiss Glaucus, when he returns with preset stats, so seriously, if you're gonna dismiss him, just don't use him, because all your investment is gonna be wasted. Pluto, unfortunately no longer a planet, and you're gonna need a really extended attack range to actually reach Pluto, because you know it's the furthest one away. Well, he's an archer. Two stars? Do these stats look familiar? Maybe shared with a fellow edgelord?
I feel edgy.
His bases and growths are the exact same as Rutger, and Rutger has good stats, right? Also a big fan of Rise of Ronan, that's a game, right? Because we have 55% magic with a 6 magic base. 30% strength is a recipe for noodle arms. This is pretty worrying. His better magic growth is pretty difficult to leverage because there isn't an insane magic bow like the Shining Bow. There is a magic bow, it's called the Fell Bow, and it actually has 1-2 range, but it's kind of rare, like the might isn't that great, it's not too impressive. His promotion choices are both pretty good. He could promote to Sniper. I think Sniper is actually really good. With Sniper, you get a +4 strength bonus, wow! And you get bow range +1, which applies to all of your bows. So normal bows become 2-3 range, long bows become 2-4 range, and there's even a new bow type, the Arbalest, which is normally 3-4, so for snipers it becomes 3-5. Other promotion is Mamluk, which is like Nomad Trooper. It's actually a cavalry unit that has 8 move. The Dragoons with their heavy armor, I guess they're not as nimble as the Nomads. So you actually become a really, really good rescue dropper with a mount and 8 move, and I guess you get sword access that you'll never use. I'd probably rather go Sniper. Sniper is really good. In addition to being uncounterable, except against other snipers, a lot of the late game maps are really dense. When you have your forces clashing with the enemy, space to attack from can get really tight, and snipers can attack from positions that are unusable by other units just because they have such crazy range. There's also a fair amount of spooky flyers that'll be swooping down at you, and although you're always going to have your main bowlord there, you might also want to have Pluto in orbit to help snipe the flyers. This guy could maybe be 3 stars. We'll see, we might promote him at the end, depends on how many units are in 3 stars. I just don't want 3 star to be too bloated. You got a problem with that, Pluto? Speak up if you do. Alright, well, it doesn't seem to be an issue. Wulfric! He's a cavalier. I don't really have that much else to say about him. Unlike Canari, he's on the dark side, so instead of swords and axes, he has lances and bows, and those are pretty good. His promotions are to Dark Dragoon, which is the same as Raleigh, so he'll have lances, bows, and dark magic. His Great Knight promotion is the same class as Canari's, but his weapon set is different. So while Canari wields swords, axes, and lances, Wulfric will instead wield lances, axes, and bows. His stats are totally fine. Pretty much every unit's stats in this hack are totally fine unless we say otherwise. But a nice thing about Wulfric is that he has an A support with a unit Tiresias, and you're probably gonna want to use Tiresias. So training Wulfric buffs both him and Tiresias, should you choose to use them. These next 3 units, Vasily, Fructuoso, and Skymerius, they're special mercenary recruitments. You get 2 chances to recruit them, they will automatically level in between their recruitments, and you will not get the 3rd one. So you could choose one twice. Vasiliki! She's an archer, and she's unique in that she's the only unit that gives you value when completely benched. She has a personal skill where she will forage up some vulneraries occasionally. And vulneraries both cost and sell for more. It's as if occasionally she hands you a small bullion for 450, even if you don't deploy her. And you probably shouldn't because her stats are terrible. If she didn't have this forage skill, I would put her in 1 star, but she does, so thanks. Keep crafting. They're on the bench. Fructuoso. Not quite high fructose, more high friction. He's a very unique unit, so he looks like an armor knight, but he's actually a bandit, and he's crafted his own set of armor. He actually has 2 skills. The first is Provoke, which increases the chance that enemies will attack him, and the second is Clumsy, which causes him to take 5 damage after every round of combat, although it's not lethal. So he essentially mini poison strikes himself after every battle. I think on the first chance of recruitment, you probably should not get this guy. At this point, healing is still at a premium, and the 5 flat damage is more of your total health. However, the second time he's available for recruitment, you can do some pretty cheesy stuff with him. If you get him at the second point, you can immediately promote him. He can go to either Bounty Hunter or Hoplite. They're both pretty good choices. Hoplite is probably better for the weapon triangle control. The thing that makes him so useful is that Provoke as a skill is not a May clause. This dude is your main tank. It's mandatory. Enemies will attack him, guaranteed. If you've played with Emblem Soren in Engage, he has the decoy skill, which gives a unit guaranteed provoke, but only for 3 attacks. Fructuoso always has it. This has a couple of interesting effects. Because healing is so valuable, this means that you can concentrate all of your healing on one target, assuming he doesn't die, so you do need to be careful. Normally there's a great risk with having damaged units in enemy range, because enemies are going to attempt to attack and kill those injured units. That also affects the way you attack. Sometimes you can't actually dive into enemy lines, because if you take a counterattack but don't kill all of the enemies, those wounded units will be next to die. If you have high fructose corn syrup as one of the additives in your army, you actually can dive and make these risky attacks because your injured units will no longer be at risk of dying. That's actually a really, really powerful offensive boost. He also taunts Siege automatically to him. Although Siege in this game is not really that dangerous, you get some special story mechanics to counter them. I never really had any trouble in my playthrough with Siege, even though I didn't use Fructuoso, and also I hate Siege and complain about it non-stop in FE6. It's also noteworthy that if you do second recruitment Fructuoso, this is about the point in the game where healthcare for your army gets better, which makes countering his clumsy downside much easier. Your third option of mercenary is Skymerius, the Mysterious Lancer. Skymerius' stats are actually really good, except for luck. His luck is really bad. So he's actually at risk of crit. You do get a Hoplon Guard, but there's a lot of crit-happy enemies, so him hogging the Hoplon Guard is actually kind of a cost. His stats are really good. Not really good. His stats are pretty good. They're definitely better than Nicholas, your other soldier. And Skymerius has Shade, the opposite of High Fructose's Provoke, so enemies will never attack him unless he's the only option in range. All of that stuff would probably get him to 3 stars. However, much like his face is hidden, his downside is also hidden. This guy's got his own agenda. He'll apparently just go off on his own on certain missions, and he just can't be deployed. That's kind of a problem. We should dock his pay for going Rambo. If he didn't have that downside, he'd probably be 3 stars. His stats are good. His class is totally fine. He just has this Rambo downside, and unlike most of the other recruitments, there is an opportunity cost, because you can only get 2 of the 3 mercenaries. So that, I think, is weighing him down from 3 stars. Orla! I sort of forgot this was a unit. She's an Armor Knight. Her stats are fine. The Armor Knight promotions are really good. It's just the training arc that sucks. But she starts at level 9, so it's not much of a training arc. Promote her ASAP if you want to actually use her. She has a fire affinity, that's pretty good. Fia, the Jaded Juno. This is the first pre-promote you get, with the exception of your geriatric jeigan. And she's a sniper. And snipers are pretty good. She's got good bases, she's got pretty good growths as well. A free sniper! Even if you never feed her kills, even if you never train her, she is gonna be able to contribute. She can one-shot flyers all game. She comes with her own silver bow. Super, super useful. If I was playing super seriously and not playing favorites with deployments for units that I think are just kind of funny, I would have used her the entire game. She's really good. Bow range +1 is super, super flexible. Jaded Juno here also has a fire affinity, so she gains very powerful bonuses from her support partners and offers those powerful bonuses back to them. Although her support partners aren't the easiest to keep in range of her, because she's often kind of doing her own stuff on the sidelines. Alonso the Addled, another elder to add to our ranks. Well, he's an Armor Knight. He joins at promotion level, but you probably shouldn't promote him immediately. He's really old, so his best days are behind him, right? Wizened am I in the ways of this world! No, he's been studying. 103 HP, 35 strength is bad. 60% magic growth? 60% speed growth? What in the world? So his sort of gimmick is that his base magic is atrocious at 4, but his magic growth is really high, and you want to be using magic. So even though he can immediately promote, you probably don't want to, because you want to get those high probability magic level ups. Has those same really good Armor Knight promo choices, and I believe he actually got nerfed. He used to be considered too good, so we are actually playing with Alonso the Addled, but we had a pretty good time with him. He comes with his own maid, Teresa. These two are based on the famous play Man of La Mancha, so Alonso is tilting at windmills, and Poncho here is sort of left to clean up the mess. Well, she's a wyvern rider, so I don't really know what else to say about her. She's a wyvern rider. Her stats are actually, like, kind of bad. In particular, her speed, she's quite slow. She has a base speed of 8. So ironically, despite the fact that she flies, she might need a speed wing. But she is your first flyer and the only one you get for a while. And that alone is incredibly useful. It's not like she can't fight at all. She can. She's just not particularly good at it. She does have a feisty fire affinity, very useful, and supports with Alonso. So if you want to use Alonso, you should probably also use Teresa. It does make sense that her stats are pretty bad because she only has a wyvern for pragmatic purposes. She uses it to make deliveries. She's not actually a fighter. Polonius. Sort of a secret recruitment. Did you know the Necromancer class is in this game? He appears as a boss in a chapter. You can kill him. His recruitment condition is, well, let's just say his revenants are even less threatening than the ones in Sacred Stones. Maybe there's still some spark in their eye. Don't be a murder hobo, okay? Let the dead live in peace. Four stars? Asterisk. In terms of actually fighting, he's like 2 stars. His stats are really not that good. He has bizarrely high HP. He's a spell sword, but he has 44 HP. He also has like okay strength, it's like 12, but his magic sucks. He's 4 stars with an asterisk because he's a living silver card. He has the bargain skill. So he essentially doubles your money. You never have to field him, just make him do all of your shopping. Much in the way that Lopez does, he vastly increases the power level of your army by making their inventories better. And that's where the bulk of his utility is. He's sort of a reward for fulfilling his recruitment condition. For the times when you do actually need to deploy him because the shopping happens on the map rather than in preps, he is pretty beefy. He can hold his own, just don't expect Stellar Blade from this Spellblade. Ophelia takes to the stage. Unfortunately not to dance, but to act, and she's a method actor because she's a chameleon. She literally becomes the unit that you target. Far, far worse than a dancer. A dancer is usually described as a copy of your best unit. But my question to you is, who's your best unit? That actually changes depending on what you want to do, right? Your best unit is whoever accomplishes the objective you want. What is the objective? Do you want more healing? Then you'll dance for your healer. Do you want more mobility? Then you'll maybe dance for somebody who's doing a rescue drop. Do you want more memes? You'll dance for your trainee. Issue with Ophelia is that she's literally a copy of your unit, which comes with a lot of downsides. And some of those downsides are unique to the environment of this hack. Much like how myself putting on this shawl and crafting this crummy staff doesn't actually give me miraculous healing powers. She actually can't copy Apate. Well, she can, but nobody's actually gonna get any healing, so it's pointless. When she transforms into a unit, her base HP does not change, but her maximum HP increases to match the copy. That means you have to heal her. In a game where the entire point is healing being limited, the copying also consumes her action, so that's negative action economy, whereas a dancer is always positive action economy. And while she does craft her own costumes, you have to provide the props. She does not copy inventories, which would be completely broken. And that means that she's not really that flexible, because you actually need to prep her inventory for whoever she transforms into. I'm not saying it's impossible to get great value out of her, but she does often feel like a great value version of the unit she transforms into, because she's not gonna have their inventory, and she also cannot copy all of their skills. She only copies the first skill that they have, so she's more of an understudy. You also really don't want her to kill things, because she does not gain XP or levels while transformed. She's trying to steal the spotlight. Tons of downsides. I wouldn't exactly give Ophelia top billing. You can probably get use out of her, but I guess you'd have to be a better tactician than me. Maybe I'll catch the matinee. Hestia the Herculean. She's a fighter. Joins a bit underleveled and surprisingly late. She's actually with your party, forging friendships and weaponry alike for most of the game, but she doesn't join you until significantly later. Because of that, I do have to penalize her. But her stats are overall really good. She's really skilled. She will never miss. Ever. Very, very accurate. Same promotion options as Fango. In fact, she's pretty much just better than Fango. And Begonia stats-wise. It's just that she joins significantly later and doesn't have the Bandit triangle utility that are boosting this trio. But Hestia is perfectly viable. She has the exact same promotion options as Fango, so she can go either Bounty Hunter or Warrior. They're both pretty good. Another incentive to use Hestia, although she's a little bit behind the curve, is that she has some pretty important story-relevant supports. So if you want value out of those, you should train Hestia. And who wouldn't want to? Hestia's got the hookup on a lot of the best equipment in the game. She hands it to you in the story. I'm not necessarily giving her credit for that, but why wouldn't you want to train her? She helps you so much. Delilah the Devilish. She's basically Pincer. Same class Magic Blade, except she joins later. She will probably have slightly worse stats than a trained Pincer, but she has a leadership star. So for me, the moment Delilah joined, I just replaced Pincer with Delilah. Delilah is a bit more strength-focused, whereas Pincer is more magic-focused, which is overall bad, because magic is better, and you're just going to be using magic. But she still has enough magic, so it's not really an issue. Delilah comes with her retainer, Jane. Jane the Jacked. She's a mercenary, which is a sword class, but she may as well be an axe unit, right? Level 10, with 17 base strength and a 75% growth. Jane the Juiced. That's a lot of strength. That speed's kind of suspicious. Can promote to either Bounty Hunter or Hoplite. Both good choices. But if you want to go for Giga one-shots, probably go Bounty Hunter. Not like you need to double if you one-shot them, right? She also has support with Delilah, so if you use them both, they make each other better. Although it's kind of a mediocre support, it's Ice Wind, I think. Conan. Apparently not the Barbarian. It's supposedly Conan as an Arthur Conan Doyle, who is very much not an axe-wielding maniac, as far as I know. But this Conan is a berserker. Pre-promote? And the first of many pre-promotes where I basically have nothing to say. He's a perfectly serviceable berserker pre-promote. And he is in the employ of a not nearly as serviceable nerd. Lycaeus and Conan are a pair. This is sort of the Aaron Sampson choice of this game. You can either get Conan and Lycaeus, or you can get Dahl and Simeon. Lycaeus is a nerd. He's the only other holy mage aside from Eupraxia, so he has the same promotion choices. He can either go to Spellblade, or he can go to Witch. I mean, he can cast spells, and magic is pretty good. He's very underleveled for the point in the game where he joins, and he doesn't actually do anything that special. This is a very low 2 stars, potentially even 1, but magic is pretty good. The counterparts to Conan and Lycaeus are Dahl and Simeon. Dahl here, not the classic Indian lentil dish, but Road Dahl, author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Road Dahl, I believe, was actually a fighter pilot in World War II. This guy's infantry, so no fighter jets or wyverns or pegasi here. You just gotta walk up to the enemy and stab them with perfectly fine stats. Dahl is a halberdier, so he gets 15% crit with his spears. I think overall I would probably rather have axes than spears, but they're both fine. And Dahl is unfortunately shackled to this dude, Simeon. Simeon, more like Simisage. Ugh. Very similar to Zacchaeus, but a little bit edgier. So apparently, dark mages have monocles. He's a dark mage. Very underleveled. I would probably put him in 1 star, except he can promote to Druid, which has Tomebreaker, and Tomebreaker is pretty good. But I don't really think he's worth using, and he's pretty close to 1 star. His growths aren't anything spectacular either. It's very strange to me that these two, despite being nobility, don't have leadership stars. It sort of feels like they should, because they're part of a trio with Delilah, and Delilah has one. Maybe Delilah's just a better leader, I guess. But in order to make these dudes worth using, they would need a leadership star. In terms of which duo you should go with, really you're only going to be using the pre-promotes, and I think Conan is a bit better, so you should probably just go with Conan, and then just leave Lycaeus on the bench. Laertes the Lecherous, he's a dark rider. Starts out at level 10 with some pretty unimpressive stats. He's a very interesting gimmick unit. His base stats are not good. His growths are also not good. His mechanic is that he can pay to win.
ダンジョンが販売されるんじゃないかと。
Some people are worried that maybe we will sell dungeons.
No pay to win.
No.
Well, it's pay to win according to him. You definitely pay, but do you really win? So there's 3 opportunities to pay him. It's an increasing sum of money, and you do actually get an increasing return on your investment. It's really expensive, in particular the final payment, and I personally do not think it is worth it. However, when you wire over the final payment, it says Laertes is all increased. And they do mean all. This Laertes has never fought in a battle. He's never actually leveled up. These stats are promoted at level 10, his joining level, and with 0 level ups. Like, these stats they're pretty good. But are they worth 17k? Probably not. If you're playing 0% growth though, this guy is 5 stars. I guess he just eats the money and becomes stronger. You do only get 1 pair of boots in this game. So paying Laertes is sort of an indirect way to get Laertes with the laces without having to actually spend the boots for a highly mobile cavalier. Ours went to Great Knight, but he also has the option of going Black Dragoon, which would give him magic. Nikaya the Nasty, the second flyer available to you. She is a Pegasus Knight, and well, that's kind of the review. She's a Pegasus Knight. We invested a lot in the Pegasus Pony Express. We even ended up giving Nikaya the Nikes. And while we did get a lot of value out of that mobility, there were a lot of actions that only Nikaya could have taken. I really just wish I had used Teresa for this. I thought I could fix her, and I really couldn't, because she rams those pathetic Pegasus Knight caps pretty hard. She dies to, like, everything. She's not a lucky lass, so she actually has evasion issues because her luck is so bad, and she almost always faces a chance of crit and instant death, which is really nerve-wracking. You could give her the Hoplon Guard, but you probably want to also give her the Philly Shield so she doesn't just get shot down, and she needs a lot of equipment. I probably should have mentioned this with Teresa, so I guess I'll mention it now. She shares a promotion option with Teresa. Teresa could either go Wyvern Lord, which gives her swords, terrible, or she could go Malignite, which gives her magic, which is really good. Nikaya also has the option to go Malignite, which then puts her on a Wyvern, which sort of feels like it fits her. She's kind of snaky. She's kind of got that Orochimaru color palette. Malignite would give her magic, which would really, really help her. I went Falcon Knight because to me it sort of feels right for a Pegasus Knight to go Falcon Knight, but it was in fact not right. She starts off with a terrible sword rank after promoting to Falcon Knight, and even after training up that sword rank, there aren't that many great swords to use. It really feels like Falcon Knight should have had a skill, Duelist Blow or something, to boost evasion when initiating an attack. I think it really could have used that. Nikaya often got 2-hit KO'd, even after significant bulk investment, Angelic Robes, and she was almost always the unit most in danger of dying. I would say that Falcon Knight has the niche of having 16 aid to pick up anyone, but I think Malignite had 15 aid, which would also pick up everyone. I think your biggest units cap out at 15, and 15 negates almost every weapon's weight entirely, except for I think Devil Axe is the heaviest weapon, and I think you would lose speed to that, but like Brave Axe, a traditionally very heavy weapon, the Battle Axe, a very heavy weapon, caps out at 15. We were using Fango Unchained as a bounty hunter, and he had 15 con, he was our biggest unit. And I think Malignite Nikaya can also pick him up, so I really should have just gone Malignite. Tiresias, the Blind Seer. Urza, is that you in disguise again? Tiresias the trainee, sort of? He's with your party for most of the story, but he only joins you at a very pivotal moment. You can preview his skills early, and you can see that he actually has a light magic rank, so I sort of expected him to join with like a 5-watt light tome, which he does. But he also joins with another weapon proficiency that you're going to really appreciate. Four stars. He has some irreplicable, unique utility, but he does start in a massive rut. He actually has 3 personal skills, which is kind of crazy. The first one is definitely the most important, it's Paragon. He joins you at, I believe, level 4 with some pretty horrible bases, but because of Paragon, he gains double the XP, so he catches up quite quickly, and he can even pull ahead. His growths aren't actually that good. They're fine, but he gets a lot of levels because he levels up so quickly. It's kind of hard to tell from this sprite, but he is literally blind, so he has 0 skill, but he doesn't really have hit issues because he's very lucky. He caps out on his luck, and he actually manages to land hits pretty reliably. Now, our Tiresias was a terror. He was insanely above average in all of his stats, including skill. Even though he has 0 base skill and a 0% skill growth, right, because he can't see anything, we ended up giving him the equivalent of the AFA's drops. We increased his maturity, which gave him a 5% skill growth, and he managed to hit that skill proc 4 times. We also gave him a secret book apparently written in Braille for the final 2 skill. You almost certainly will not be getting those results, but they don't actually matter. It's more of just fun trivia. His other skills are Miracle, which allows him to survive a lethal blow if he was at above 50% HP when killed. I don't think this procced for us a single time, but it's some nice insurance early in the training arc. And his final skill is Weapon Expertise, which allows him to build up weapon rank twice as fast as normal. This is very valuable because he gets a special story payoff for training his special weapon proficiency. Go over here. I mean, sure, let's move the max range. Like, what are they gonna do to me? Okay, that might have been a bad idea, but it's probably fine. Okay, we might die here. That's a lot of damage. That's not good. Good level. That's more evasion. Oh no. Oh, don't just stand there. Oh, that's so unlucky. We take 4 more attacks, don't we? Oh, that's fine. Don't just stand there! What are you, blind? Oh. More evasion? That would have been nice earlier. Oh, don't do this to me. Oh, that's fine. Oh, don't just stand there. Are they all gonna hit me? Oh, 3 skill! Not like this! Not like this! Not like this! It wasn't like this! Tiresias Hype Master! Oh, good thing we put this guy in the thumbnail. He just made it as exciting as possible. Man, I really should not have put him in that position. That was really dangerous. No, don't just stand there. I definitely recommend giving Tiresias a try. Given the way he joins in the story, I can't imagine not giving him a trial run. Barley, the tactician. The barley seeds are planted early in the story, but they're not harvested until a pivotal story moment. Now, barley is a crop. He cannot fight at all. All he does is stand there amidst a field of your other units. Master Tactician. You're gonna want barley as an ingredient in every deployment recipe. Now, this guy cannot attack at all, but he has 2 Tactician stars. So every single fight that's happening on the map, he is providing a 6% avoid and hit swing. Now, this unit is named Raleigh, but this man is the true Raleigh. He's a Raleigh bot. He has 3 skills. The first increases damage dealt and reduces damage taken for allied units within 2 spaces of him. I'm not gonna say this never factors into engagements, but you're gonna need to be a 5-star tactician to actually have barley near where the fighting is happening. Reason for this is when he uses his rally, all units within 2 tiles of him gain +2 to all of their stats. This can actually take them over their caps. +2 to all stats probably sounds pretty good to you already, but I think I can make it sound even better. It's almost like temporarily giving all of your units 5 bonus levels. You'd probably be gaining 2 in most of your stats over 5 levels. So you can limit break all of your units and go up 5 free levels just by RSVPing to this guy's rally. And once you're inspired by his speech, you're gonna get a move on because that +2 stat rally also comes with a +1 movement rally. There were tons of turns where I was only able to initiate into and pick apart an enemy formation because I had the massive stat and move advantage provided by a diet of barley. Apparently they used to punish Roman soldiers for desertion by decimating them, so killing 1/10 of their platoon, and then making them eat barley. Is the barley really a punishment? I don't think so. This guy's name is Barlow, by the way, but I just called him Barley the entire time. 5 stars. What is this? Danny Doyle. How did Agari get up there? Go back to Iono's stream, okay? You're not a Canatic? Well, Danny Doyle was also part of the Cavalier Wars in FE7, so I think Danny just hates Cavs. Beatrix the Beauteous. Now, we just raided Blind Seer, who is Urza, Grand High Artificer. I don't know if Beatrix is the Grand High Artificer, but she is an Artificer. Three stars? Artificer is not really that useful of a class. The luck touch utility basically never happens, but if something goes horribly wrong and your Lopez investment crashes and burns, Beatrix actually shows up to make sure you don't get soft-locked. But she only actually joins you as a permanent playable unit a bit more than halfway through the game, so availability at this point is getting a little bit suspicious. She's perfectly okay. She's really fast. She does have some pretty good utility in her join chapter. There's some pretty dangerous mages that pick Torchic, so they have the Combustion Tome, and they will double kick you. This is probably too coded. What I'm saying is there's some enemy mages in her join chapter that have a brave magical weapon called Combustion, and Beatrix actually has a bunch of resistance.
Your magic shall not save you.
Beatrice has the bulk, and she also has a Steven Seagal anti-nerd DVD in her starting inventory, so she's very good at taking out these extremely dangerous enemies in a chapter where, believe me, you're going to be very stressed. That's where most of her use comes from. After that, you can use her if you think she's cute. I probably should have used her. Telemus! Telemus is a pseudo-secret recruitment. He's actually the boss of an earlier chapter. He's guarding the gate, and it is a siege chapter. So how do you beat the chapter without killing Telemus, who you want to recruit? You do get a hint from one of the houses on the map, but here's my hint for you. There is an alternate clear condition.
Welcome to Edgelords only. Heroes. Just don't get it.
But you gotta live on the edge to find it. If you manage to clear the map without killing Telemus, you will not get the Master Seal that's in his inventory, and this is a point in the game where your units are starting to promote, so you probably wanted it. But Telemus will eventually join you later. He does come with a Master Seal, so you don't lose it permanently. And without spoilers, you're gonna be really glad that this guy joins you when and where he does. Telemus is a general, so he's in a good class, skipped the painful training arc. He's got really solid bases, good enough growths, and he actually does have a leadership star. So he is going to be tilting the battle in your favor, even if he can't necessarily reach the action with his 5 move. In the map where he joins, he's your hero, okay? But in the game overall, considering how late he shows up, I gotta dock some points. You can't really go wrong fielding Telemus. And he also has pretty good weapon ranks, so anything useful you have in your convoy, you can throw on him and he can probably use it. Papa Pericles. Similar to Hestia, he's with your group for a lot of the story, but he does not actually take to the field until far later. He's a White Dragoon, and by the time he joins, his stats are fine. Canari is gonna have better stats if you train her, and of course Canari has way better availability than Pericles does. But Pericles is one of what's gonna be a chain of just good to go pre-promotes, and he supports his daughter Canari as well. And he has a leadership star. It's pretty funny that earlier in the game, they do actually give reasons for why he's with your army but not actually helping you. So in one of the earlier chapters that's sort of meant to be a breather easier chapter, your entire army is playing the map, and he's basically soloing the other side of the field off screen. My XP, he stole it all. Avatar Fazang. If I had a Lopez coin for every time I played a Romhack with a bald guy with Ang in his name, I'd have 2 Lopez coin. Which isn't a lot, but it's still strange that it happened twice. Fazang from the Far East. He is a druid. 2 words to describe Avatar Fazang. Bald. Bulk. This dude has got some serious beef. He's got 44 base HP. He's wearing a robe, but he somehow has 15 defense?
Break yourselves upon my body.
And he has 15 resistance.
Your magic shall not save you.
But it may as well be infinite resistance. Because he's a druid, he has Tomebreaker. Enemy nerds are actually pretty dangerous, and this guy is the alpha nerd. He doesn't care about them at all. I guess if the enemy has a magical weapon, like a magical sword or a lance or a bolt axe, lol, in that case you need to use your resistance, but he's basically magic immune. This guy isn't literally invincible, like he can die, but he can pretty reliably walk into 3 or 4 enemies, and you can be pretty sure that he's going to survive, which not many units can do, and he does it for free. I think if you train up Hecate, she's gonna be better on offense, but I don't think she'll ever balloon to the amount of bulk this guy has. He's really durable. A lot of your durable units do have to watch out for specific effective counters. Effective weaponry is everywhere. Now there is a nerd effective weapon, the Segel Tome, but the Segel Tome is a tome. And he has Tomebreaker. This dude marathons Steven Seagal DVDs. Like, look at his physique. So he's sort of the only bulky unit that doesn't have a weakness, because Tomebreaker counters his weakness, And of course, he himself can wield the Sigil Tome to pulverize enemy nerds. Really valuable safety unit. If you're looking for a bait unit that can go in first and draw in enemy fire, maybe consider using Avatar Fazang. Edward the Redbeard. Despite his history as a pirate, he's actually not a berserker, he's a bounty hunter. A pre-promote with perfectly okay bases. I really don't have that much to say about him. You can totally field him. He's fine. He's not going to measure up to a trained Fango stat-wise, but he can still hold his own. Most important things about Edward are that he has a B support with Kyra, and he has a fire affinity, which is really good. And he has a leadership star. I can't remember their names. Oh.
If you want something done right, leave it to a human.
I'm sorry, the Zoolites all look the same to me. Xingyi and Jinyi. They're both Mamluks, so they are nomad troopers. Their stats are pretty similar. Xingyi has a better bow rank, and Jinyi has a better sword rank. Oh hey, I got it right! Okay, apology video canceled. These are the Super Rescue Drop Duo, 16-8 on Jinyi, 15 on Jinyi, but 15 is enough to pick up literally everyone. Damn, Jinyi has 19 base strength. It's really good. Okay, so they're definitely meant as sort of mirrors of each other. So you can see Jinyi here is weaker, but she's faster. And Xingyi here is stronger, but he's slower. But they're both fine in terms of strength and fine in terms of speed. And they're both really, really mobile. You're probably mostly going to be using bows on them. And even though Jingyi's bow rank is lower, B is still enough for most of the good bows. They're both perfectly fine pre-promotes that you get for free, usable right off of the bench. You can use both. Could be a good idea, they do support each other. But if you're only going to use one, then I would pick Jinyi, because Jinyi has an authority star, whereas Xingyi does not. Also very fun characters, so Jinyi does not speak the Tartarian language, so everything he says has to be sort of translated by Jinyi, which leads to some very fun story moments. I think it was very well done. Jason! Where are the Argonauts? Jason's value depends on the other units you've recruited. And I mean value both literally and figuratively. Jason is a paid recruitment, and if you recruit him with Kyra, you pay full price. He's really expensive, he costs 4,000, but his joining inventory is actually decently valuable. If you sell his starting inventory, it almost makes up for his recruitment cost. Not quite. If you don't have Polonius, then Jason is definitely worth it even at full price, because he's also got the bargain. So he doesn't quite have the silver card, but he has the silver tongue that gets him the discounts. If you have glaucoma, as in if Glaucus is in your army and you did not send him away, this recruitment happens during the window he would have been absent, then you can have Glaucus haggle with Jason. And if Glaucus does it, he joins at a cost far below what his starting inventory sells for. So you would 1,000% recruit him, as opposed to 100% recruit him, because I think he's worth recruiting either way. Three stars, asterisk. If you missed the Polonius recruitment, which is very possible on a blind playthrough, then I would probably give him 4 stars, because then he's your only bargain user. But even without that, he's just a solid dude. He's a warrior. Filler is a really good way to describe him because he fills in whatever gaps you have. If you don't have bargain, well, here's your bargainer. If you have a deploy slot for a perfectly fine physical unit, good axe rank, good bow rank, okay spell rank, decent enough physical stats, go with Jason. Where's Freddy? Where's X? Any other Jason properties? I don't know. I'm an old crone, but this is Coronis. She's a witch. May we burn her? Coronis is a very unique unit. She's a witch, literally that's her class, so she's a 7-move anima-using character, has the Bowbreaker skill, but she also has a personal skill. Tome range +1. She gets extended range on all of her magic. Wow! Wait, only 3 stars? What manner of witchcraft is this? Now, in the story, Coronis is a teacher. I'm not really sure who gave her license. Because she got pretty horrible grades in school. 11 base magic. Oh, that's pathetic. Oh, but her growth is really good, right? No! Hit the books, lady! I think Coronis actually does count as not quite a gimmick character, but the idea is that she has extended tome range, but she doesn't have that much magic to use it with. So you actually get a lot of use out of dusting her with the silver powder in terms that actually make sense in Fire Emblem. You can give her the spirit dust. She gets a lot of value out of that. Snipers hate her. She is the anti-sniper, nerd sniper, because with Bowbreaker, she can actually avoid their 3-range shots, and because of her tome range +1, she actually can counter despite the extended sniper range. She's a fun unit with some unique utility, which does include rescue dropping. 18-8 is amazing, but she's mostly going to be lurking on the outskirts, taking pot shots with her special 3-range tomes. Very natural for a witch to seek seclusion. Plato. If your philosophy involves memes, the DNA of the soul, then Plato is the philosopher for you. This dude is hilarious, and he appeals to a very particular type of player, which includes me. He's sort of a caricature of the edgelords that tend to appear in both official and fan-made games. Like, look at this. The red robe, the black hair. He's a sword master, by the way.
Whoa, kid. Don't cut yourself on that edge. Wouldn't want to end up in the hospital.
Trainee Hut General.
Swordmaster is kind of a crappy class, and you could definitely consider this guy an homage to Shannon. Oh, or is that Shanam? Level 4 Swordmaster. I see 12 speed. SaintRubenio, the creator of the Romhack, is actually in the chat right now, and here's their wisdom. I don't know if you noticed, but Pluto has a higher base speed as a level 4 archer than his brother. It's true. I'm not gonna say Plato is a pointless unit. There definitely is a point. I'm not necessarily talking about the sword. If you love To the Moon, or perhaps even further to Pluto, his brother, est units that are in no way worth it, this is the unit for you. He has a personal skill, Blood Bounty. You get double the growth rates, but you also suck up double the XP. With Blood Harvest, his growths are actually quite good, right? They're actually quite incredible. 80 strength, 90 magic, 110 skill, 100 speed, so he will always gain speed, 140 luck, 30 defense, oh, 20 res, watch out, he's gonna die, and he'll always gain at least 1 HP because he has 100 HP. He also has some unique traits. As you reap the Blood Harvest, he gains additional skills, so he eventually gains aptitude for an additional 15% on his growths. I do believe that gets doubled again by Blood Bounty, so I think he actually gains plus 30 to his growths. He also is uncapped. He can go above level 20, and at level 23, I'm not gonna say he gets less ass, he actually gets more ass.
When you wish upon a star.
He actually gets Astra. Is it good? Is it necessary? No. But it is very fun. And this game does have a post-game, so if you're faffing about trying to reach astronomical numbers, this is your guy. But if you're just doing a normal playthrough, is this a unit I would recommend using in your army? Absolutely not. The amount of resources he sucks up in terms of XP from your other units is in no way worth it. But if you're just looking for the fun factor, maybe take some philosophy classes with Plato. I'm being very negative here, but it's not really all bad. He does have 17 base strength, which is pretty good. And he has been practicing his swordplay. He does have S swords at base, so you can sort of compensate for his horrific stats by giving him powerful weapons. Although Plato is an infantry unit, we have from the horse's mouth. Don't forget that he has multiple theme songs, and nobody else has multiple theme songs. His theme song, I think, actually interrupts the epilogue. It's pretty funny. Well, at least they have the courtesy to try and kill us first. Chopped. No. Poppycock. Cocked. Ziying. He's a man of few words. Actually a man of no words, because he can't speak at all. He's an assassin, and unlike Lopez, he's actually a combat assassin. His recruitment is not too secretive, but it's not exactly straightforward. There's a rescue mechanic escort mission on his map, and after you complete it, approach Ziying, but don't kill him, and then he'll join you. Ziying. Sorry. This Apate cosplay gives me a stuffy nose every time. We can conduct the remainder of the Ziying review as he would have wanted. Ziying was kind of an experiment on my part. His characterization comes entirely in the form of battle quotes. After 2.0, he became a high con assassin, which is at least something. He is beefier than Lopez, but they're both so fast and use weapon types that don't really rely on high con anyway, right? I guess that's something. But yeah, he just seems like a pretty good combat assassin. He's pretty good. But in particular, these three zoo characters, I think, felt very unique. Since Jinyi has to have everything translated, and Xingyi, literally can't say anything. Demeter. A pseudo-secret character? In order to get Demeter to join you, you need to visit her in her ruins over 4 separate maps. It's never particularly difficult, but if you miss one of them, she will not join you. She's actually a unique class. She's in the Malignite, but I don't know, she seems kind of nice to me, not very malignant at all. She has a Lance rank, and unlike ordinary Malignite, she doesn't have an Anima rank. She actually has a Light rank, which is cooler, but it's probably less useful because it means she can't use the Thunder Tome, which is really good. But her stats are really good. She's a free pre-promoted flyer, and she has a leadership star. She actually has a personal skill here, Peacebringer. All units within 2 tiles deal -2 damage. This doesn't mean she will be taking 2 less damage, but I've mostly found that this sort of nerfs your allies that happen to be attacking next to her. Since this is a secretive bonus character, her stats are a step above most of the other pre-promotes. She's just overall really good. She also has her own lemon-lime flavored wyvern. It looks really tasty. Doesn't it look like citrusy and refreshing? Although she doesn't actually have the savior skill, she will probably end up being your savior at some point because she does have a flying 15 aid, which is very useful. She can pick up everybody. She seems really privileged. Who does she think she is? Someone really special, I guess. Nothing more than an airheaded roaming priestess, it would seem. I mean, that makes sense. Airheaded because she's a flyer, sure.
Hey, post-production imported cheese here with a formal spoiler warning. For these final two characters, their recruitment and footage of the things they can do is a massive spoiler and will involve showing the final boss battle. If you have any intention of playing this game for yourself, which you absolutely should, you'll find a link in the description, then I recommend that you remain unspoiled and come back later. I know a lot of you guys aren't actually watching, you're just listening while doing your dishes, or maybe you're already asleep, but seriously, this is your spoiler warning. Consider yourself warned.
PHEONE, mother of the consort. Unfortunately, PHEONE can only create more PHEONEs. Here's your Granny Goto. Goto is an old unit that joins late and is meant to sort of carry you through the final stages. Well, she's old. In her advanced age, she's been studying, because those are some good grades. That's a lot of magic. 24 speed is also pretty good. However, she does join in the finale, so her availability is really poor. S rank in anime, so she's seen every episode. The C rank in Dark, I guess you can use the Segel Tome? I never used a Dark attack with her. Unlike Athos, she's not actually captain level. She does have room to grow. And she actually will grow, because, wow, her growths are actually really good. What? Why do people make fun of PHEONE so much? I know I've been calling her PHEONE and not Thione, which is her name. But believe me, if you've used this unit, you would know that her best trait is her water moves. I'm not talking about the Tsunami Tome. You're all invited to the White Pool. Attack and AS +5 to adjacent allies. RSVP to the northeast, south, or west immediately. Insane boost. It is the only way for some units to reach doubling benchmarks against some of the very buff final chapter enemies. And without spoiling too much, the final boss is very Ashera-esque. So you are going to appreciate attending the White Pool party. Not quite the Hag in White that the hack is named after, but perhaps there is room in the pool for more than one hag. Now we gain pool party value from here. So 10 damage comes from the pool party. That's gonna chase me in my nightmares for, well, probably the rest of my life, honestly. If he's on the other side, well, Alonso's not doing anything else, right? If he's on the other side, can he Aura Blast from the other side of the pool? The pool! Oh yeah, make me fight that thing. Yeah, surely I, of all people, will be able to win this. I maybe should have moved supports into range of this first. Dude, how much of the damage comes from the white pool? And I think let's get a brave finish. Where's my brave bow? Whoops. Can't you go to 3 range? Not anymore. Because I moved an item. It's fine, we'll just crit her. What have you done, you fool? You think stand for Kyra the Keen. Easy. Feeling sick? Only reason that she's not 5 stars is because her availability is very poor. She's only available in the final gauntlet, but she does a lot there. And last, Lorenzo with the anti-spoiler helmet. Camus in this game actually lifts the visor and does see reason. His recruitment sort of rhymes with Shinon. You do need to have a bit of a back and forth dialogue with him, but you can tell that his heart's not really in it, so it's not as dangerous to tank his attacks as you might think. Do note that his recruitment rhymes with Shinon's. It's not the same as Shinon, so don't kill him or you'll actually kill him. I guess the closest parallel to Lorenzo's recruitment would be Katarina, if you're one of the 10 people that has played FE12. His base stats are really good. This Lorenzo here has actually eaten a few units, so he's made use of his okay-ish growths. This is Lorenzo in his mortal form, but when he becomes aware of that mortality, as in when he's under half health, that's when he opens up the editing software. This man is a master of DaVinci Resolve. He's the one editing the video. He's gonna make sure he wins. When Resolve is active, he reaches thresholds nobody else can. If this man is resolute and brave while attending the pool party, that is gonna be one rounding. So with the pool party, we can actually kill her, right? That's exact, right? The pool party. Pooled. I'm guessing she falls off the tower. Yeah. Oh! I'm gonna brave both a wall. Very brave. Alright. And Fango the Furious. That's not Fango. Fango the Furious. Home run with the hammer. Whatcha? Hammered. The final boss has no chance. Who wouldn't lust for Lorenzo? Well, anyone who doesn't have S-rank lances, I guess. He's a great knight, and his weapon ranks are A swords, S lances, and A axes. I'd probably rather have bows than swords, but I can't really complain about these proficiencies. 7 move Great Knight with Savior. Enough to canter. To 3 stars. If you can get him into resolve range, he becomes Lorenzo the Ludicrous and can kill anything. But it is a double-edged sword, right? Because he then can also die. And while it is fun to set up a bunch of buffs, rally an inspiration from Barley, invitation to the White Pool Party, and then one round the final boss, it's kind of a hassle to set up, and you don't really have to do that. You can just use, well, the rest of your army. But it is fun. That wasn't so bad. That only took like 4 hours. It really is a mini tier list. So concludes our Hag in White mini tier list. Younglings, I've treasured the time we've spent together. Time grows short. We must say our final farewell.
Vamos!
I can't heal that.